People often act out of insecurity or unresolved issues when they cheat or hurt others, and understanding this can be key to processing the experience. Insecurity is a powerful force that stems from deep-seated doubts about one's worth, abilities, or place in the world. When someone feels inadequate, they may lash out or betray others as a way to cope with those feelings. This behavior is often not premeditated, but rather a reaction to internal struggles that they may not even fully understand. People who are insecure often seek validation or control outside of themselves because they don't believe they can find it within. This can lead them to make choices that harm others, even if those choices don't directly address their own emotional wound. Unresolved issues such as childhood trauma, past relationship failures, or feelings of abandonment often shape how people behave in the present. A person who grew up in an environment where they were constantly criticized or neglected might carry those feelings into adulthood, unable to separate their past experiences from their current relationship. They may cheat or hurt others, not because they want to cause pain, but because they are trying in a misguided way to protect themselves from being vulnerable. For example, someone who has been betrayed before might cheat as a preemptive strike, believing it will shield them from being hurt first. This kind of behavior reveals an inability to trust and a fear of emotional intimacy, which often results in damaging those closest to them. Insecurity and unresolved issues are often interconnected. When a person feels unworthy, they may act out in ways that sabotage their relationships, even if they don't intend to. They might push others away or seek constant reassurance through unhealthy means, such as infidelity or manipulation. These behaviors can stem from a belief that they are unlovable or undeserving of a stable, fulfilling relationship. It's as though they are testing the limits of how much others will tolerate. Or they may be trying to create a self-fulfilling prophecy where the relationship fails, confirming their negative self-view. Unfortunately, this often results in pain for both parties involved. Another way insecurity manifests is through jealousy and comparison. Someone who feels threatened by others may resort to harmful actions to assert control or diminish what they perceive as competition. This might involve putting others down, spreading rumors, or engaging in betrayal to gain an advantage. These actions are not reflective of who they hurt, but rather of the person's internal battle with their own feelings of inadequacy. They act out because they are trying to fill a void or compensate for a perceived shortcoming, but these efforts rarely lead to the validation or relief they seek. Instead, it perpetuates a cycle of hurt and discontent. It's important to recognize that people who hurt others due to insecurity or unresolved issues are often unaware of the root causes of their behavior. They may genuinely believe that their actions are justified or that they are acting in their best interest, even if it means causing pain to others. This lack of self-awareness prevents them from addressing the real problems and leads to repeated patterns of destructive behavior. Are not changing anything. It also means that even if they regret their actions, they may not fully understand why they acted as they did, making it difficult for them to change. When faced with someone who has cheated or hurt you out of insecurity, it's easy to take their actions personally. However, recognizing that their behavior is often a reflection of their own struggles rather than your worth can be liberating. It doesn't excuse their actions, but it provides clarity. Understanding this can also help you decide how to move forward, whether that involves setting boundaries, seeking closure, or offering forgiveness. Lack of empathy or emotional awareness is another significant reason why people may cheat or hurt others, and understanding this can help make sense of their behavior. Empathy is the ability to put oneself in someone else's shoes, to understand and feel what they are experiencing. When someone lacks this capacity, they are often disconnected from the emotional impact of their actions. They might hurt others not because they actively wish to cause pain, but because they fail to see or appreciate how their behavior affects those around them. This lack of awareness often stems from a limited emotional understanding of themselves, which makes it difficult for them to recognize or value the emotions of others. It's as though they are blind to the emotional world, unable to grasp the ripple effects of their choices. Emotional awareness, on the other hand, involves the ability to understand and manage one's own emotions, as well as to navigate the emotions of others. When a person lacks this awareness, they often act impulsively, driven by immediate desires or frustrations without considering the broader consequences. For instance, someone may cheat in a relationship, not out of malice, but because they fail to understand the deep betrayal and hurt it will cause. They might justify their actions with thoughts like, it's not a big deal, or nobody will find out, failing to comprehend the emotional depth of trust and commitment in the relationship. This inability to think beyond their immediate feelings often leads to selfish decisions that leave others in pain. People who lack empathy often struggle to form genuine emotional connections. They may view relationships as transactional, focusing on what they can gain rather than on mutual care and respect. This mindset can lead to actions that prioritize their own needs at the expense of others. For example, they might manipulate or deceive others to maintain control or fulfill their desires, seeing these behaviors as acceptable because they don't fully grasp the emotional damage they are inflicting. Their inability to connect with the emotions of others creates a barrier that makes it hard for them to understand why their actions are harmful, even when confronted with the consequences. This lack of emotional awareness can also manifest in an inability to handle conflict or vulnerability. When faced with difficult emotions, some people choose to avoid or suppress them rather than confront and process them. In doing so, they might resort to behaviors like lying, cheating, or lashing out, believing these actions will help them escape discomfort or maintain their sense of control. For instance, someone who is afraid of being vulnerable might cheat in a relationship as a way to avoid confronting their own fears of inadequacy or rejection. They may hurt others not because they intend to, but because they are unable to face their own emotional realities. It is also worth noting that cultural, social, or personal experiences can contribute to a lack of empathy or emotional awareness. People who have grown up in environments where emotions were dismissed or invalidated may not have learned how to identify or express their own feelings, let alone understand the feelings of others. They might believe that emotions are a sign of weakness or that vulnerability should be avoided at all costs. This perspective can lead to a pattern of behavior where they unintentionally hurt others by disregarding their emotional needs, focusing instead on practical or superficial concerns. Without the tools to empathize, they may even become defensive when called out, seeing themselves as the victim rather than the cause of the hurt. Understanding that a lack of empathy or emotional awareness often stems from deeper issues rather than intentional malice can help provide clarity when dealing with someone who has hurt or betrayed you. It doesn't excuse their actions, but it sheds light on the reasons behind them, offering a chance to process the situation with greater understanding. It also highlights the importance of emotional growth, both for those who struggle with empathy and for those affected by their actions, as emotional awareness is key to building healthier, more compassionate relationships. Deliberate choices or values misalignment is a significant reason why people cheat or hurt others, and it reflects a conscious decision to prioritize their own desires or needs over the commitments they have made or the respect owed to someone else. When someone deliberately acts in a way that causes harm, it often stems from a fundamental difference in values or priorities. Yet, this misalignment can manifest in many ways, such as placing greater importance on personal gratification, freedom, or ambition than on loyalty, honesty, or mutual respect. For example, someone who cheats may justify their behavior by saying they were unhappy or unfulfilled in the relationship, believing that their own needs outweigh the promise of fidelity. This decision, while deliberate, often highlights a deeper disconnect between what they value and what the other person values. People who make deliberate choices that hurt others often rationalize their actions to minimize feelings of guilt or responsibility. They may convince themselves that their behavior is justified, that the other person would have done the same in their position, or that the situation forced their hand. These justifications often stem from a self-centered perspective, where their own desires take precedence over the well-being of others. For instance, someone who betrays a friend for personal gain might argue that it was simply a matter of opportunity, failing to acknowledge the breach of trust they have committed. This kind of reasoning demonstrates a lack of alignment in ethical or moral values, where the individual's choices reflect priorities that are fundamentally different from what the other person expects or believes in. Deliberate harm can also arise from a lack of respect for shared boundaries or agreements. In any relationship, whether personal or professional, mutual respect and understanding are essential for maintaining trust. When someone intentionally violates these principles, it reveals a disregard for the expectations that were agreed upon. For example, if one partner in a relationship values open communication and fidelity, while the other secretly engages in dishonesty or infidelity, it indicates a clear misalignment in how each person views commitment. This gap in values often leads to actions that are hurtful, as one party prioritizes their own perspective while ignoring or undermining the others. Sometimes deliberate choices to hurt others can come from a place of entitlement or superiority. A person who feels they are above the rules or more deserving than others might act in ways that disregard the feelings or rights of those around them. This mindset can lead to actions that are not only hurtful, but also dismissive of the impact they have on others. For example, someone in a position of power might exploit or manipulate others to achieve their goals, believing that their needs or ambitions are more important than the consequences for those they harm. This behavior often reflects a fundamental disconnect between their values and those of the people they hurt, where self-interest outweighs empathy or fairness. It is also important to consider that values misalignment doesn't always mean one person is right and the other is wrong. In many cases, it is simply a matter of differing priorities or beliefs. For example, one person might prioritize honesty above all else, while another values harmony and avoids confrontation, even if it means bending the truth. These differences can lead to conflicts where one person feels betrayed or hurt because the other's actions don't align with their expectations. The hurt caused in these situations may not always be malicious, but it is deliberate in the sense that the individual acted according to their own values, even when knowing it might cause pain. Understanding that deliberate choices and values misalignment are a factor in hurtful behavior can help in processing these situations. It highlights the importance of recognizing and addressing differences in priorities and expectations early on, as well as setting clear boundaries to prevent misunderstandings. It also serves as a reminder that not all relationships are built on shared values. And when this misalignment becomes evident, it may be necessary to reevaluate the connection to ensure mutual respect and understanding. The importance of not internalizing the hurt when someone cheats or hurts you cannot be overstated, as it is often the first step toward healing and reclaiming your sense of self-worth. When someone acts in a way that causes pain, it is easy to fall into the trap of believing that their behavior is a reflection of your value or that you somehow caused it. This mindset can be incredibly damaging, leading to feelings of shame, guilt, and inadequacy that are both undeserved and unnecessary. Internalizing the hurt means taking responsibility for something that was never yours to carry, and it places the focus on your perceived shortcomings rather than on the actions and choices of the person who caused the harm. This way of thinking not only prolongs the pain, but also undermines your ability to move forward with confidence and clarity. When you internalize the hurt, you may begin to question your own worth, replaying the events in your mind and wondering what you could have done differently to prevent the betrayal or pain. This self-doubt can become overwhelming, leading to a cycle of negative thoughts that erodes your self-esteem. It's important to recognize that the actions of others are often more about their own struggles, insecurities, or values than about anything you did or didn't do. Holding yourself accountable for their choices not only shifts the blame unfairly onto you, but also prevents you from seeing the situation for what it truly is, a reflection of their behavior, not your value as a person. Another danger of internalizing the hurt is that it can create a distorted view of relationships and trust. When someone close to you cheats or betrays you, it's natural to feel hesitant about opening up to others in the future. However, if you allow this hurt to shape your beliefs about yourself and the world, you risk building walls that keep out meaningful connections. For example, you might convince yourself that you are unworthy of love, or that all relationships inevitably lead to pain. These beliefs can become self-fulfilling as they may lead you to settle for less than you deserve or to push people away out of fear. By refusing to internalize the hurt, you give yourself the chance to approach future relationships with an open heart and a clear understanding that not everyone will repeat the same mistakes. Letting go of the hurt doesn't mean ignoring or dismissing your feelings. In fact, acknowledging your pain is a vital part of the healing process. The key is to separate your emotions from your sense of self-worth, understanding that feeling hurt is a natural response to betrayal, but not a reflection of who you are. You can honor your emotions by giving yourself permission to grieve, feel angry, or even question what happened. But it's crucial to remind yourself that the actions of another person do not define you. Taking time to process your feelings without attaching them to your identity helps you reclaim your power and focus on what truly matters: your growth, resilience, and ability to move forward. One of the most empowering steps in not internalizing the hurt is reframing the experience as an opportunity for learning and growth. While it's painful to face betrayal or harm, these moments can teach you valuable lessons about boundaries, self-respect, and the importance of surrounding yourself with people who align with your values. For instance, if someone's actions revealed a lack of honesty or respect, you can use that knowledge to make more informed decisions about the kind of relationships you want in the future. Viewing the situation through this lens allows you to take back control of the narrative, focusing not on what was lost, but on what can be gained. Another important aspect is self-compassion, which involves treating yourself with kindness and understanding during difficult times. It's easy to be harsh on yourself, to replay the hurt over and over, or to dwell on what you think you could have done differently. Practicing self-compassion means reminding yourself that you are human, that everyone experiences pain, and that you deserve the same empathy and care you would offer to a close friend in a similar situation. This shift in perspective helps you to stop internalizing the blame and instead focus on nurturing your well-being. Ultimately, not internalizing the hurt is about reclaiming your sense of identity and refusing to let someone else's actions dictate your self-worth or future happiness. It's a process that requires patience, self-reflection, and a commitment to prioritize your own healing and growth. While the pain of betrayal or hurt may not disappear overnight, Choosing not to internalize it sets you on a path toward empowerment and resilience, where you are free to define your life on your own terms, rather than through the lens of someone else's action. Responding to betrayal or hurt is one of the most challenging experiences anyone can face, as it involves navigating intense emotions, processing the situation, and deciding on the next steps to protect your well-being. When someone betrays or hurts you, the first instinct might be to react impulsively, whether through anger, confrontation, or retreat. However, responding thoughtfully and intentionally can make a significant difference in how you heal and move forward. The initial step in addressing betrayal or hurt is to give yourself the time and space to process what has happened. Emotional reactions are natural, but it's important to avoid making decisions in the heat of the moment that you might later regret. Taking a step back allows you to reflect on the situation with greater clarity, separating your immediate feelings from the bigger picture. One of the most crucial aspects of responding to betrayal is acknowledging and validating your emotions. It's normal to feel a range of feelings, including sadness, anger, confusion, or even disbelief. Allowing yourself to experience these emotions without judgment is essential to understanding the depth of the hurt and beginning the healing process. Bottling up your feelings or pretending they don't exist might seem like an easier path, but it often leads to unresolved pain that resurfaces later. Journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or seeking the guidance of a therapist can provide healthy outlets for these emotions, helping you process them in a constructive way rather than letting them consume. Once you've given yourself time to process, the next step is to seek clarity. Understanding the reasons behind the betrayal or hurt, if possible, can help you decide how to move forward. This might involve having a direct and honest conversation with the person who hurt you, asking for an explanation, or expressing how their actions affected you. While this conversation can be difficult, it can also provide a sense of closure or insight into the other person's perspective. However, it's important to approach these discussions with realistic expectations. Not everyone will offer the answers or accountability you might hope for, and in some cases, their response might not bring the resolution you seek. Preparing yourself for this possibility can help you avoid further disappointment and focus instead on your own healing. Setting boundaries is another vital part of responding to betrayal or hurt. Depending on the situation, this might mean limiting or cutting off contact with the person who caused the pain, establishing clear guidelines for future interactions, or deciding what behaviors you will no longer tolerate. Boundaries are not about punishment, but about protecting your emotional and mental well-being. They empower you to take control of the situation and assert your worth, ensuring that you prioritize your needs and safety moving forward. Communicating these boundaries clearly and consistently is key, as it reinforces your commitment to respecting yourself and your values. Forgiveness is often a topic that arises when dealing with betrayal or hurt, but it's important to understand that forgiveness is a personal choice and not an obligation. Forgiving someone does not mean condoning their actions or forgetting what happened. Instead, it's about freeing yourself from the burden of resentment and anger, allowing you to focus on your own growth and happiness. Forgiveness, when it feels right, can be a powerful step in letting go of the hold the betrayal has over you. However, it's equally valid to take your time or to decide that forgiveness is not necessary for your healing. As you navigate your response to betrayal or hurt, self-care becomes a critical component of the process. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health helps you rebuild your strength and resilience. This might involve engaging in activities that bring you joy, practicing mindfulness or meditation to manage stress, or surrounding yourself with supportive people who uplift and encourage you. Self-care reminds you that you are deserving of kindness and compassion, even when you've been hurt by someone else's actions. Ultimately, responding to betrayal or hurt is about regaining control over your own narrative and deciding how you want to move forward. While the actions of others may have caused pain, your response is where your power lies. Whether you choose to repair the relationship, let it go, or focus entirely on your own healing, the choices you make should align with your values and needs. It's a process that requires patience and self-awareness, but with time and effort, you can emerge stronger, wiser, and more in tune with your own worth and well-being. Turning hurt into growth is one of the most transformative outcomes of experiencing pain, betrayal, or disappointment. And while it is not an easy process, it holds the potential to change your life in profound and meaningful ways. When someone hurts you, the initial instinct might be to dwell on the pain, replaying the events in your mind and questioning why it happened. This focus on the hurt, though natural, can leave you feeling stuck as if the betrayal defines you or limits your ability to move forward. However, choosing to view the hurt as an opportunity for growth allows you to reclaim your narrative, shifting your energy from what was lost to what can be gained. One of the first steps in turning hurt into growth is acknowledging the lessons embedded in the experience. Painful situations often reveal truths about ourselves, our relationships, and our boundaries that we might not have fully understood before. For example, a betrayal might teach you the importance of clear communication, the value of trust, or the need to establish stronger boundaries to protect your well-being. By reflecting on the experience with curiosity rather than judgment, you can uncover insights that guide you toward healthier and more fulfilling choices in the future. These lessons may be difficult to accept at first, but over time, they become valuable tools for personal development. Growth also comes from recognizing your own resilience and capacity to overcome adversity. When you experience hurt, it's easy to feel powerless, as though the pain is taking control of your life. Yet every step you take toward healing is a testament to your strength and determination. Whether it's seeking support, practicing self-care, or choosing to forgive, each action demonstrates your ability to rise above the hurt and rebuild yourself. This process of rebuilding not only strengthens your emotional resilience, but also fosters a sense of self-efficacy, reminding you that you have the power to navigate even the most challenging situation. Another key aspect of turning hurt into growth is the opportunity to reassess and realign your values and priorities. Painful experiences often force you to take a closer look at what truly matters to you, whether it's in your relationships, career, or personal goals. For instance, if a betrayal revealed a lack of alignment in values with someone you trusted, it might inspire you to seek connections with people who share your commitment to honesty and respect. Similarly, experiencing hurt can prompt you to prioritize self-love and self-respect, recognizing that your worth is not determined by the actions of others, but by how you choose to value and care for yourself. Hurt also has the potential to deepen your empathy and understanding of others. While this may not happen immediately, as you heal and reflect on the experience, you may find that you are better able to relate to and support others who are going through similar challenges. This newfound empathy can enhance your relationships, making them more compassionate and authentic, and it can also inspire you to create positive change in the lives of those around you. By transforming your pain into a source of connection and understanding, you not only grow personally, but also contribute to the well-being of others. Creativity and self-expression are another powerful way to channel hurt into growth. Painful emotions often serve as a wellspring for creative endeavors, providing a means to process and make sense of your experiences. whether through writing, art, music, or another form of expression. Creating something from your pain allows you to externalize your feelings and turn them into something meaningful. This act of creation can be both cathartic and empowering, giving you a sense of purpose and accomplishment as you transform your hurt into something that reflects your strength and resilience. Finally, turning hurt into growth involves embracing the idea that pain, while difficult, is an inevitable part of life and a catalyst for transformation. While no one seeks out hurt, accepting it as a part of the human experience allows you to approach it with a mindset of growth rather than resistance. Each challenge you face and overcome becomes a stepping stone on your journey, shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate version of yourself. This perspective not only helps you heal from past hurts, but also prepares you to face future challenges with greater courage and confidence. By choosing to turn hurt into growth, you reclaim your power, honor your resilience, and open yourself to a future filled with possibilities. The pain may have shaped you, but it does not define you. Instead, it becomes the foundation for a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you, paving the way for a life of greater purpose, connection,